Hello, class. Today you have two different tasks. I think the first one is hopefully pretty obvious. You've already taken the Act 1 quiz. Now you just have to take the Act 2 quiz. I'm not really going to spend too much time on that. You did the review, page 19, hopefully yesterday, in preparation for that. So go ahead and take that quiz. And then secondly, though, I did want to actually take some time to explain the instructions for uh, the first of three who's to blame response paragraphs. So after taking the Act 2 quiz, and then also after you take the Act 3 and Act 4 quizzes, you are going to complete these paragraphs, and eventually you're going to use them to help you write a paper at the end of the semester. And all of that writing, all the writing that we do during this unit is going to focus on one simple question, and that is who's to blame. Okay. The main question here is who is to blame for the death of Romeo and Juliet? So if you remember back to the prologue, we're told basically two things uh, by Shakespeare in the third section of that sonnet. Remember that the prologue is a sonnet, it's broken into three sections. And the third section, he tells us why he's bothering at all to tell us the story of Romeo and Juliet, why he's putting together this 2 hour play to walk us through the story. And he basically gives this reason. He says, well, Romeo and Juliet are going to die at the end. These two young kids who fall in love and get married that are from these two separate households, they're going to die. And that's a tragedy. That's really sad. And we want to find out why so that we can avoid some of the same mistakes that the characters in the play make. So I basically break it down this way. I think that you can learn everything that Shakespeare is trying to teach you if you ask the question, who is to blame? Who is Shakespeare saying is at fault for Romeo and Juliet dying, and why? And if we can select kind of which character we think caused the most problems, caused Romeo and Juliet to die, we can see what we should do differently in our lives from that character. Now, I have a few suggestions that are mostly in this paragraph here. I suggest maybe the Montagues or the Capulets, so the parents might be at fault. I suggest that maybe Romeo is at fault because he rushes into relationships. Juliet, because she also rushes into at least this relationship. She kind of had the chances to reject Romeo, but she doesn't. And then I think one of the really obvious people could be the friar as well, because he really shouldn't be secretly marrying two 14-year-old kids without their parents knowing. He kind of just goes for it. He thinks this will help the families get along better. Not sure how he thought that, but nevertheless, there's a lot of options just based on the first two acts you've read so far. You've met a lot of the characters. You can choose one of the characters that I have here, or you can choose a different character from the story to blame. But regardless, pick one and then write 5 sentences to tell us what that character did in the story and why you think that means they're at least a little bit at fault for Romeo and Juliet dying. Okay, so going back, just to recap one more time, you're going to complete task one. That's the Act 2 quiz in this Google form right here. And then you're going to complete task two, this paragraph, in a Google Doc. You'll just attach it below and submit it here by the end of the day. If you have questions, let me know at office hours and have a great day.